Welcome to the Pickleball Recovery Podcast, where we highlight products and practices to help you feel better faster, so you can spend less time stiff, sore, and injured, and more time on the court doing what you love. This podcast is sponsored by AlloMD. Don't just mask pain, eliminate it. AlloMD provides intense relief and advances continual repair for both acute injuries and chronic pain. All-natural, patented technology developed by doctors to get you back in the game fast without the use of opioids, steroids, or NSAIDs. AlloMD, harnessing the power of pure natural ingredients that provide deep, penetrating repair. Patented, validated, natural. Learn more at www.allomd.com and make sure to use the discount code PBR at checkout to save $5 off your order. What's up? It's your host, Tim Ringgold. Thanks for joining us here on Pickleball Recovery. Great to have you here. How you doing? Did you play some pickleball today? I got some pickleball in today. I'm very excited. Got a little short training session in for preparation of tomorrow's men's senior pro singles at the PPA championships in Vegas. I head out just in a little while here for Vegas. And I've been playing a lot of doubles actually lately, so I needed to sneak in some singles to remember how to, hit a drive. So let's go. Looking forward to it. By the time you hear this, I'll be back, but definitely excited. It's a big tournament. A lot of my friends, because it's not too far from where we are in SoCal, a lot of friends will be there, so it'll be a good time. I'm super excited about this episode because it's totally different from any of my prior episodes. So in this episode, if you're listening to this on podcast format, I super encourage you to go over to YouTube and watch the episode, and then click the like and subscribe button while you're there. Cha-ching! Shameless plug. But seriously, because in this episode, I get assessed. And I go through like an assessment eval, a treatment eval with an amazing trainer named Kyle Valery, who's the co-founder of a company called Stretch Effect in San Diego. And Kyle had come highly recommended, referred from multiple sources. So I was very excited to get down to his lab, his studio, his clinic, his space. Not sure what the right word is to describe it, but it's a super cool training gym, might be another word for it. Was super excited to spend time with him. So what we did was we shot the video with some lapel mics, with him taking a look at the way my body moves. And in the episode, you're going to learn a lot about the fundamental building blocks of your game that you probably don't think about. And most of us just jump into performance and go. And yet there's so much about our body and the way our body moves that's so important to how we perform. And I definitely learned that when I just completed my PPR coaching certification training. Movement was a big deal in how we talked about, preparing for a shot, your balance, your weight, your hand positions, all kinds of things that really weren't the strategy or the tactics of the game, where to hit the ball, how hard to hit the ball, when to hit the ball hard. It was all about body movement. And that's really what sets up good shots in pickleball. Good movement sets up good shots. And so if you're struggling with any of your shots, I'm going to tell you right away, you're going to want to video yourself and watch your body's movement as you approach the ball, as you hit the ball. Where are you hitting the ball? What does your body look like? Man, it's so eye-opening. In fact, this morning at the courts, I decided, since I just got certified, I would watch another court for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I was going to watch just the two players on one side of the net from a coaching perspective, from a body mechanics perspective. And I was just going to watch the way they moved on the court, how they prepared their body, where they hit the ball, in terms of what did their body look like. And it was so eye-opening. It was so predictive to when they made a mistake, and how the quality of their shots really came off, had everything to do with body movement. So with that, this is going to be a great ride for you to watch me as the guinea pig really get kind of moved by Kyle, and you're just going to learn a lot along the way, and just to see what an amazing machine this human body is. So, yeah, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Kyle Avery, welcome to Pickleball Recovery.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we finally got to meet.
Yes.
We had a mutual friend introduce us in the athlete space.
Yes.
And man, as soon as I walked in, right away, I knew I was home. So we're here today. This is kind of a unique episode, everybody, because not only are we kind of doing an interview about what you do and how you help athletes.
Correct.
But we're using me as the guinea pig.
A real athlete.
So they say. And we're going to actually do an assessment on the table over here, as well as talk about what you do with other athletes and other clients that you work with.
100%.
So we're here in sunny San Diego, California.
Very much so. Yeah, beautiful weather.
Yeah, beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about how you got into working with athletes. Just a quick, backstory.
Yeah, synopsis here. So I've been in the industry field since I was 19. Okay. So I had my own business. I was 21. I'm 38-ish now, working my way up there.
Yeah.
And I, started in the training realm. Came from more like baseball and cross country and powerlifting, and was doing more like traditional strength training type stuff.
Okay.
And then evolved that into, an undergraduate nutrition, master's in exercise science, clinical license in nutrition, and then went into corrective manual therapy, and then went down that whole rabbit hole and all of the gamut of certifications with active release techniques and all of these different modalities. And then ultimately created what is like the perfect job for physical therapists.
Okay.
And so all of our employees here at Stretch Effect are doctors of physical therapy.
Nice.
And we have created what is called Movement Health fundamentally, which is a holistic approach to wellness.
Gotcha.
And physical wellness specifically.
Gotcha.
And so we have 8 different facets of that here.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts with breath, and they all build on each other. So if you don't have a singular component, then you're missing. So it's all pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
We need all of them to make a complete picture.
Yep. Love that.
And so a lot of people, athletes specifically, like to play in the performance realm.
This is like, this is our whole thing.
You really see one picture of it, right? And then recovery's become more of a conversation, right? And that's, that's hydration, that's sleep, that is all of the other passive and active modalities that you could kind of lump into that, nutrition, all of those types of things.
Yeah.
But what we're going to focus on specifically today is what we would call our foundations, which is breathing, rib cage position, all of that kind of stuff. Mobility, yes or no, right? Does it move, right?
Yeah.
Stability, can you make it stable?
Yep.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yep.
And then talk about the components of your training specifically, and whether or not there's too much or too little of certain aspects or facets of that.
Yep.
And where we may need to curtail, add in, adjust, schedule accordingly to based on where you're at.
Yeah.
That's fundamentally the whole goal. And so we start everybody with an assessment, a movement-based assessment, orthopedic joint-by-joint assessment, and then do a breathing screen and manual muscle testing for strength.
Got it.
So that's what we're about to dive into next.
Nice. And one of the reasons that I'm here is that I feel like, yes, this is the focus, right?
Please.
And then there's prepare. So for me as an athlete and as an artist, I think of like this kind of wave of prepare, perform, recover, prepare, perform, recover.
We like to call that undulating periodization.
Oh, hubba.
Yeah,
okay,
fancy
undulating
word. Periodization.
You heard it here first.
Undulating
periodization. So that's fascinating because and as a guy with ADD, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, like my whole life, I've struggled doing anything like this. Right. So can't do a job 50 weeks a year the same way. That's not how I'm built. I'm built to do this.
Ebb and flow.
Totally. And it's always been that way. And that's why music and sports always make sense. And athletes and artists are kind of cut from that similar cloth.
Absolutely.
But what I've noticed is like when I'm here, I'm having a fundamental breakdown regularly, and it's a pattern.
Yep.
And so I started to think backwards, like what's failing, what's
deconstructing.
like deconstructing it, right?
Yep.
So what's going on at a baseline that's not where it's supposed to be. And as I went on my own journey of discovery, I got so confused about what's too tight and what's too weak.
Yep.
What's too loose or what's too strong? What's out of alignment? What's in alignment? And then discovering a new sport, because I'm only 2 years into pickleball.
Which is beautiful.
And I come from soccer, which is very linear.
Totally different.
Right? And so we're not rotating and all that torque and explosion.
Nope. And you don't have fixed feet with all this upper body.
Right. It's very different on my body. So all the movement memory.
The mechanics and
like
everything.
That neuromuscular memory is like, I'm sure I'm borrowing some of it, but there's a lot of it I just had to kick out and start over.
Yeah.
So I feel like that lack of coordination has caused other issues where, the caboose leaves before, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we would like to say that athletes are the best compensators.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, totally.
So you're going to be athletic and you're going to figure it out, right? You're probably going to perform pretty well.
Right.
So,
despite myself.
But it could be a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
So those are where we got to understand what those deficiencies could potentially be.
Yep.
Like what essentially you're happening is you kind of built a race car blind and then now you're racing it.
Yes.
What we forgot to do was test it.
Yes.
And then iterate before we go game time.
And what's hilarious about that is I use the analogy hot rod to describe my body.
Okay.
So,
all right. But
so I like to think of it like, how do I soup up this hot rod? Because then I take it out on the court. For me, that's the track.
Absolutely.
And I want to see what level I can get it to perform.
100%.
A lot of people in pickleball, they love the social aspect. They want to just go out and have a good time.
Yes.
And then there's like this minority of freaks like me who are like, let's see what we can do with this. Like, how high can we take this thing? And I actually caught flack from a lot of my social friends as I wanted to.
Easy. Calm down a little
better
bit.
than us? Like, who do you think you are?
Currently, yes.
And I was like, well, I don't know. I had a coach tell me he saw me hit all 10 shots of pickleball in my first lesson. And he's like, how old are you? You could be a senior pro.
Yeah.
2 years later, here I am a senior pro.
It's beautiful.
But I'm wrecking myself, and I've been wrecking myself a lot.
Yeah. And the point is that the things that we love to do should not break us.
Yeah. Yes. It should not.
Right. Fundamentally.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, that's not a very healthy relationship, regardless of what it is or isn't.
Right.
And so we have to find, if we're looking to do some of this long term, and we want it to be a positive influence, we have to find some sort of system that allows us to live in this, because are there going to be injuries? Are there going to be deficiencies? Sure.
Right.
100%. You're playing at the edge. Sometimes when we play on the edge, we fall off. I get it.
Fair.
But how well can I manage said circumstance?
Yeah.
And what are my tools and resources to do that?
Yeah.
And what's my plan?
Yeah.
And what's my triggers for doing X, Y, or Z?
Yeah.
That's what we have to figure out today.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Let's get it going.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Here we are.
Let's
so now we're going to start the movement assessment.
Okay.
And we're going to go with what we call the top tier.
Okay.
So some of us see this as like selective functional movement assessment, TPI. People in the industry will know these things.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
It's kind of where this is derived from. So we would refer to ourselves as a system of systems.
Okay.
So we are inclusive, not exclusive.
Okay.
So we take from all of the above, because there's a lot of really smart people out there.
True.
Okay. So we're going to go feet together for all of these. And we're going to start with the head and work our way down. So we're going to go chin to chest for me. You're going to tell me if you feel pain and then where you feel tightness.
Okay. I just feel tightness all the way down my spine.
All the way down.
Yep.
Right? And you got kind of the shearing effect, so you don't really go into flexion. Now let's go ahead and look up at the ceiling.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay. And what do you feel back there?
I feel pain up in my neck like I'm out of room.
Yep. Like here-ish or higher?
Yeah, right in the middle is usually
right
where
through
it is.
here.
And what's funny is that I actually feel
strain
the pain
almost.
Strain
here.
Yep,
in the front. Okay. Yeah, we got
I'm always nervous
segments
to look
that
up.
don't move. Okay.
Anytime I have to look up, I'm nervous. I'm apprehensive.
And what you're going to see here is that you don't have a lot of thoracic extension.
Okay.
Okay. So you move at a single level. So right at like CT junction, you're going to just kind of hinge at a level.
Yeah.
So you get a whole bunch at one level and not a lot below.
Gotcha.
Those are going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just see. Look to your right and tuck your chin.
Right?
Yeah.
There, it's as far as you get.
And do you feel right side, left side? Or do you just feel like it stops?
It just stops, and then this, whatever this is just super tight. Over
tight
here.
on the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever
and
that thing is.
It's okay. That's elevator probably. Look
yeah,
to
I mean, it just doesn't go any further.
Yep, it's okay. Look to your left and tuck your chin. Okay, and do we feel left side, right side?
Actually, I feel left side again.
Still left side, so left and left.
Interesting.
So that just tells us the closing angle. So there's some joint stuff going on there also.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now we will have you face this way so they can see your shoulders.
Great.
But we're going to go over the top and try and touch the opposite shoulder blade. So, all right. So we got shoulder mobility, which is good. Let's see extension and internal rotation, which would be this one. That one we have less of. Now, what do we feel here?
This is where we get to, and we have all kinds of pain.
Front situation going on there. Yep. Okay. Let's see opposite side for me, please.
Okay. Super tight in my left trap.
And you feel
and
here, you could feel
left tricep, actually.
Okay, left tricep.
Super, my left tricep, super tight.
Okay, and then we're going to see extension and internal rotation. Okay.
Again, the pain is there.
Okay. Less than the other side or same?
No, it's the same. Okay. It's quite painful.
Okay. All right. Now let's see. We're going to face the camera here.
Okay.
And then we're going to go toe touch. So we're just going to go feet together.
Okay.
See if we can bend down, see what flexion looks like. Okay. Now go ahead and come back up for me.
Yep.
And we want to keep knees locked.
Okay.
And try and make it as challenging. We want the worst picture possible.
That's all you get. Oh,
and you
so
feel
tight in my hamstrings. Oh, my hamstrings. Woo!
Okay, so hammies are on fire.
On fire.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and come back up for me. We're going to see if we can delineate that just a little bit. I want you to see you kind of bend one knee.
Yep.
And then see if you can come down for me.
Okay.
So left is locked. One side is, more so. Now, does that seem easier for you?
Yep, that was easier.
Now let's switch sides. What do you got here?
It's locked up here.
Yep. Right side's not moving.
Nope.
Okay. So we can just say that, this side is going to be more of a impedance than the other side.
Gotcha.
But we're going to see where your pelvis is at. That might be part of it too.
Okay.
Now we're going to see extension. So you can face me, and then we're going to go just like this.
Sure.
Okay. Yep. And where do you feel this? Do you feel this lumbar? Do you feel this abs? Do you feel
right there?
Yep.
Super tight.
Absolutely.
Triceps, neck.
Okay. All this and then this up here.
Yeah. Yep. All through.
Okay.
And right in here in my traps as well.
Okay.
But that bottom hinge is
the most.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Locked. That's good. Now we're going to face the wall here. And we're going to look at rotation. So I'm going to have you rotate and pause. We're using hips and trunk here. So it's full rotation. Okay. And you feel this where? What is stopping you?
I almost feel like I'm about to get a cramp right there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then there's just tightness in the hip.
Just a lot of hip tightness. Go ahead and switch sides for me. And does that feel easier for you?
Yeah, a lot easier.
So left side, easier, right side, harder. So we're seeing that multiple times.
Yep.
So we're seeing this reproduce itself in multiple different ways.
Yep.
Okay, now let's go ahead and face the camera here. And we're going to just kind of see you some balance.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go single leg.
Okay.
And I just want you to kind of look forward and keep neutral and just hold yourself for about 12 to 14 seconds. I just want to see where we're at. I'm going to see where your spine is at. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's switch sides for me. Now, are you finding one leg to be easier than the other?
Right now, right leg's a little easier. I'm left-footed.
Yep.
So this is my plant leg.
Plant leg. Yep. So you would normally kick with your left.
Yep. So
you just had a little shift back here from a stability perspective on your left.
Okay.
And you were just working a little harder. Right side just like comfortable.
Yeah, I noticed that I was.
So if I was going to push you forward, you would probably land with your right foot forward.
Yep.
Right.
Gotcha.
Also tighter.
Yes.
Right. So we just have to understand there's going to be this natural predisposition that would take a long time, repetition over time, for us to kind of unwind.
Sure.
But you're still playing, so it's not like you're doing nothing. Right. So then it takes longer inherently.
Yep.
But we'll work through that. Now let's see a squat for me, please.
Okay.
So comfortable squat. So you can go how you would normally squat. Okay. A couple reps here. And then at the very bottom, go ahead and hold for me. And then what do you feel down there?
I feel.
Do you feel the front of your hips? Do you feel tension in your hamstrings? Do you feel the front of your shins? What are you feeling?
A little weakness, like tightness here. Like they're straining.
Yeah.
And then I feel a little bit of
right hip
in this front area.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the main culprits.
Okay. All right. So now we gotta dive into this a little bit.
Okay.
So we're gonna get another layer deeper on all of this.
Cool.
definitely going to focus right hip. I want to check ankles first, actually, and some of the feet stuff.
Yep.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Next step.
All right, we're back, and you have something that scares me.
And now I'm going to beat you.
Yeah. What did I do?
Okay, so this is how we fix all our problems. But no, this is what we're going to do is we're going to start to go to individual joints.
Okay.
So this is where we break out the joints and see really what is your limiting factor.
I really like the idea of breaking out the joints.
Breaking out.
That was fun.
Yes, 100%.
The musician in me was like,
yes. There's a thing there.
Sorry. Keep going.
And so what we're going to do, we're going to start with your ankles. So normally we do this on the ground, but just for the sake of filming and where we're at, let's go ahead and have you do half kneeling on the table. So you're going to be kind of up in this position.
Okay.
And then you'll go there. Yep. And then we're going to use this as our theoretical wall. So we're going to have this just about a fist length in front.
Gotcha.
And then what I need you to do is keep your heel down, and then we're going to try and drive towards this.
Okay.
Okay. There we go, right there.
Yep.
Okay, so that is a little limited on the left side.
Okay.
Okay, let's see your right side.
All right.
So I'll do the retest to see. Biggest thing is seeing if you don't fall off the table.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep you right there. Go ahead. Yep. So little dorsiflexion limitation. So now we just got to check and see because that's going to mess up your squat, right? And then that's also going to mess up some of the stuff when we talk about getting into your hips and not getting impingement in the front.
Okay.
And then also we're going to look at big toe extension next. So
big toe extension. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
Fascinating how this chain, right? Like works. Like I've got tightness here, and you're like, that's going to mess up your hips because this is where I feel it.
Yes.
It shows up here.
Site of pain and cause of pain are two definitely different things.
You heard it here. That is one of the things that I think that people miss that.
Yeah, they go to the part that aches.
Of course. Makes sense.
It's a rookie move.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And I think palliatively, we need to do stuff in the area.
Right.
Just because we got to release things and make it feel better. And it's like, if you're not working there, I don't know that you're doing the right thing.
Right.
But we also have to understand kinematic sequence, and there's a chain of events that are occurring. And our body is using the stuff that is touching things. So like the ground, for example, we get a lot of proprioception that way.
Yep.
And so for our body to be able to use that information, it has to have all of access to all of the different ranges of motion.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't, it starts making up for them in different ways. And then how it does that may or may not be a good thing.
Right. Because then as we were talking about compensating.
Yes.
Right. We're not aware consciously that we're compensating. It's happening kind of automatically. The machine's trying to adjust on its own so that we're focusing on whatever we're focusing.
Absolutely.
But that's wearing out or depleting something over time. And one of the things I always try to explain to people, like, listen, when you finally get to the point of pain or a tear or a pull or whatever, that's been building
long time.
That was not out of nowhere.
Yep.
You were like a little bit, and suddenly you have a breakthrough.
Yep.
And it might have been because of that origin. So
totally. Like where did it? So that's what we're here to unravel all that.
Got it. Great.
Go ahead and lay on your back for me here.
Okay. Head that way.
Yeah. Head down that way, and then feet down here.
Okay.
Chris, would you be able to grab me a pillow too, please, just for him? So now we're just going to see forefoot. We're going to see rear foot. So rear foot inversion is just a little bit locked up. So we also want to look at big toe. We want to make sure we're depressing that because when we contact the ground.
Yep.
So a lot of people will be like, oh, look how much big toe extension I have, but we're kind of cheating. So when we come up to here.
Thanks.
And then we go here, that starts to get more limited.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So your active range, the one that you can access, limited.
Oh, okay.
Right. This passive range, though, you can go all day.
Gotcha.
Right. So, and then as I go here, and so I'm trying to help.
That's not very comfortable.
You feel that in the front.
Sure do.
Is that correct?
Yeah, right in here where you're pushing.
Right in the crease.
It's just, like
so what I'm trying to do is manually get you to glide posteriorly here. Okay. Right. And it's a block.
Yeah, you notice it?
Okay.
Got it.
And that's why I feel here stopping me.
Gotcha.
I don't feel tension in the back stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a couple of things happening there as far as the feet are considered.
Okay.
Let's see what your other side is. Now, this is our leg that is tied in the hip.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So forefoot is pretty good. Now, more spongy there.
Yeah.
Way more spongy. Yeah, it doesn't go real quick, right? because you'll kind of see the difference in tension between like an escalator and an elevator.
Okay.
Okay. So normal tension should progressively increase.
Okay.
As you get into more tension.
Okay.
More range.
Yeah.
This one just goes
clunk.
Ding. We're on the 5th floor. How did I get here? Right. It happens really fast.
That's the top floor.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
So rear foot, it's not too bad. Let's see. That is limited also. So, and big toe is a big one for getting into our glutes. So we're talking about power production.
Yeah.
Okay. If I don't have good big toe extension and I can't get into a position like this.
Okay.
Where I am now big toe extension, hip extension.
Yep.
Which is a lot of that triple extension that people are trying to get for 4th generation.
Okay.
I can't get into my glutes.
Oh.
Which means I'm probably going to get into my low back.
Oh, that's why we wear our low back out.
Mm-hmm. And so that's
makes up for it.
A derivative of a lot of that. So, so far, laundry list has begun. Okay. So
that's why I'm here. Shock.
Yeah.
Right.
So tibial IRER here is good. That feels okay. No discomfort.
No discomfort. Just tight.
Yep. It's okay. All right. So now. So this is hip IR, which you do not have that much of. Hip ER is okay.
And just for the listeners, IR is internal rotation, and external rotation.
And external rotation.
Yep.
So this is Faber. You're pretty good here.
Okay.
This is femur abducted, externally rotated.
Look at you with the acronyms.
Oh, yeah. We like our acronyms.
We sure do.
So a little bit of tension through here. And this is probably going to be a little adductor magnus there. See what our other side is doing.
Okay.
Okay. And what we're looking for today are big gaping discrepancies.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
We can get into the nuances of the exacto ranges of motion. And that might be uncomfortable underneath a little bit.
Right.
This side.
That actually hurts my patella on my right side.
I know, yeah. See if we can actually get you
there. We go.
Yeah, slider. There we go. So that actually is okay.
Okay.
This has a little bit more range.
Difference.
Yep.
My God. Mm-hmm. Now, what's funny is my first thought is, oh, my groin's tight.
Yes. And like your hamstrings are tight.
Yeah.
But your hamstrings are probably saving your life at the same time.
Wow.
So they're actually pissed off because nobody else is doing their job.
Gotcha.
Right. But even here, this is more range than you showed me that you could access.
Okay.
So now I want you to keep your leg locked and I want you to go single leg raise there.
Right or left?
You can go right first.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. And then come on back.
Okay. Left.
Yep. Let's see the side. Yep. So in that, like overall is like, we would want more, right? But functionally, you're probably fine.
Right.
Okay. So let's see the front of this hip here a little bit. So we're going to do something called a Thomas test, which is going to be just on the very edge of the table. So I'm going to sit you up. And then you're going to kind of rest at the very edge, hold a knee, and then sit back.
Okay. I'm at the edge.
Yep.
Okay. Grab
hold
the knee.
Go ahead and sit back.
So what we're going to
just hanging out here. Okay. And what we're looking for is, can your low back stay down? Can I get actually into any hip extension? Because right now it does not look like I can. Is it rec fem? Is it something that, because the rectus femoris is a 2-joint muscle, so we got to check knee and hip.
Okay.
And then we're also going to see some of our rotation in this position, which is okay. We're going to switch sides. So we need some hip extension on the left. And now this side.
Look at that.
Is actually mo better.
What a difference.
Yep. So this is why we're going to check out the pelvis also, because there's an area here that everything crosses through that we need to understand. And so, So this left leg, go ahead and come all the way up now for me. We can go ahead and lay back.
Okay.
So your right
Catching
leg.
all this?
Yeah, I know there's a whole lot going on here.
Yeah.
So your right leg, it has more of an internal rotation.
Okay.
Ankle foot limitation.
Okay.
You have less ankle, but some big toe on this side and right hip extension. or left hip extension, excuse me, is limited.
Gotcha.
Now, that is going to tell us how your body has been solving for this. Okay. So what we need to see is like, what's the real driver of a lot of this? So the biggest deficiency. We're going to look at T-spine too and shoulders because I'm telling you there's going to be some stuff there. I do just want to check your pelvis orientation really quick.
Great.
So what I want you to do is I want you to bridge up for me. Go ahead and lift up with your hips. Good. And back down. Okay. And I'm just looking for symmetry here.
Okay.
So, and I do have a little bit of a pelvic torsion here. So, and then we're going to determine if this is a true porous series. So you're kind of, right now, you're kind of sitting like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you kind of feel that a little bit?
I feel like my hips are always off,
kind of.
And then I'll go to an event and like, one of the trainers will be like, one leg is an inch longer than the other.
Yeah.
And they say that's, something that's happening up here is causing that down there.
And what are they usually doing?
They'll put those, they'll put the foam, those wedges, like one will be higher and one will be lower or like that.
Okay.
Just to let everything kind of just like rest and drop into.
Okay.
And sometimes that alone.
The positional.
And then they'll give a little tug, on each leg and it kind of shimmies it out. But I don't know. Is there exercises?
There's stuff that you can do
to kind of
some of them they're called muscle energy techniques. And it's something where you can use opposing muscle groups to reorient the bones. Which is nice because you can do that.
That I love.
Right. And so then you can start to feel, and then you'll kind of have your little recipe of that when it goes out. And some of that's derivative of core stability. Right. What is not being stabilized here.
Right.
Okay. So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something that we're going to want to take a look at. Now, just really quick, I want to get into your thoracic spine. Really quick.
Where do you want me?
Okay. So let's have you in like what would be like a child's pose position on the table.
On the table. All right. Do you want my facing that way or facing?
You can face this way. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is have one hand behind the back and we're going to rotate it up. Or are we?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So here.
Yeah. And then this hand, it can be comfortable. So if up here is more comfortable, or I don't want it to feel like you're in an uncomfortable shoulder position.
No, it's just that like I've tried to, there you go. As far as it goes.
Don't try this at home, kids. We don't want to reproduce any of this. It's dangerous for your body. Okay, now let me check and see if it's active or passive. So,
like they'll be like, bring your
arm more.
Point to the ceiling. I'm like, I can't point at the ceiling.
Yeah. You just definitely. Okay, let's switch sides. Oh, you're good there.
I'm good.
Left side. Yeah, whatever's comfortable. And you're probably already starting to get crampy.
I mean, that's not as bad as the other side.
Yeah, and I can take you further here too.
Yeah.
Right. So this you can access a little bit more.
A little bit better.
That right rotation, and even we can see on him some development here. Right. You have this side development more than this side development.
In terms of muscle?
The muscular development.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So just tone and the development of the tissues.
You can feel that difference, right?
So,
Now, I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was a kid.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
But degree? And it was a little bit of rotation as well as curve. And they had said that what they said was that I had a little bit to the right. And then it was kind of like pulling the muscles on the left side.
Totally.
And then the muscles on the right side were kind of
constricted. This is more of an instance when we talk about corrective exercise. That you would be, there's no such thing as like, oh, I did 2 on the left, so I need to do 2 on the right.
Okay.
It's not really that way. It's almost the inverse, where if I have a deficiency between the sides, we would want to see, okay, like a 2-to-1 ratio of the stuff you do on the left to the stuff you do on the right, or things of that nature.
Gotcha.
So now I want to just, so T-spine's a problem. We know that. Okay. So that's going to force us to move above and below. So the body is a series of alternating stable and unstable joints.
Okay. Yes.
So the ankle should be mobile, the knee should be stable, the hip should be mobile, the lumbar spine should be stable, the T-spine should be mobile, right? It should alternate like that.
I like that.
If it does not do that, then you are going to have some sort of weird compensation somewhere, somehow. That's where the whole thing kind of breaks down.
Gotcha.
And how you solve that is going to be personal, but we got to understand, is it a weakness that it's solving for? Is it a movement limitation that it's solving for? And then once we fix that, you'll see a lot of the other stuff kind of dissipate. Right? So it'll start to kind of go away on its own almost. Nice. So next I want to try a breathing assessment. So I will have you sit on the other side and you're going to be facing away.
Okay.
See how loud I can cough into the mic? Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to just take some deep breaths for me, and then just let me know. Okay, good. Now, if I was to say, belly breathing, you would know what that means, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the problem with belly breathing is it's a lot in the belly.
Yeah.
And we want to think 360, and we want to think cylinder. Okay. So what I'm looking for is we need to understand that there are 3 diaphragms. So we have an oral diaphragm. We have a thoracic.
Hold on.
Diaphragm.
Yeah,
diaphragm.
I know that one.
So we have 3 diaphragms. We have an oral diaphragm, a thoracic diaphragm, and we have a pelvic diaphragm.
Whoa.
And they have to be what is referred to as in centration or alignment.
Okay.
For them to have synergy, to fire together.
Okay.
To co-activate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will get a positional fault, which is like a scissoring of sorts, right? So we get this openness, so they're not working with each other in conjunction.
I see that.
And then now,
I wouldn't have noticed that, but look at that.
If I already have poor breathing mechanics, if I'm just activating through here, I'm not going to get a lot of backfill, right? And a posterior chain stability.
Okay.
And then that's where we can just dump a lot of power.
Oh, wow.
Right? And then that can create a lot of weakness for us.
Okay.
And pain potentially.
Okay.
So what I'm going to cue you, because you're an athlete and you learn fast, and I know you're going to do well here.
All right.
Go ahead and sit facing that way again.
Yep.
Because I think it's just, I don't know that you were taught all the way properly. So what I'm going to do.
Did you say I wasn't taught properly?
I'm just saying there is a chance that someone may not have communicated effectively to the point where you digested it well and accessed it on a regular basis.
You mean like how to breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, right? People are like in, out, repeat if necessary.
Yeah.
And yet there's best practices. Fascinating, right?
There's a whole optimal. There's optimal.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want you to inhale through your nose.
Okay.
When you do that, I want you to try and push my thumbs out in your back.
Interesting. Okay.
Go ahead. Good. So left one came on, right one was a little tough, and you feel delay there. Okay. This is part of this. Is it like there's a physical block here that's also limiting you? But there we go. That's a little better. Now what I want you to do is I want you to inhale all the way and hold. Okay. Good. Now inhale more. Inhale more. Oh, that's when we go up top. Yep. Okay. And relax. Okay. And go back down. And now what I want you to try and do is I want you to inhale all the way and then shallow breathe.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
And then in and out?
And then in and out. But just don't lose my pressure into my hands. There. That right there. Okay, good, and relax. Okay. Wow. So that's tough.
Fascinating.
Right? And it's a coordination thing. Okay.
I've never had to send a thought to do that before. Consciously.
And so the problem is that if you want to have access into that, when you're playing, fatigued, power producing, anything like that, it can't be conscious.
Yeah. Of course
it can't be.
Because I got to be focusing on a little yellow ball.
Yeah, you got to be somewhere else, right? Mentally.
Yeah.
And so for this to innately take place, there's going to be a little work there.
Sure.
So there's a timeline. There's also some physical restrictions there.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're going to have to kind of dive into that a little bit.
We will rebuild him.
Yes.
Stronger.
By breaking him down first. Yes. But that was where this had a kind of a little delay with it, right? And so we just need to understand that there are some deficiencies with mobility and breath.
Yeah.
Those are the first places that we're starting with. But we play in performance.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And then we bang our head against the wall and we say, hey, why aren't I getting better? Why does this still keep happening? We start asking all these questions.
Yeah.
But really, I can't even begin to answer any of those until we understand where are the parts and pieces. Like, do you have access to even be able to do certain things that are needed?
Yeah.
And when we talk about rotary power, we need to have full range. Yeah. We need to have the most access. Yeah. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Okay. And we need to, if we're going to stay safe in power production, all of those types of things, we're going to need to have core endurance. We're going to need to have this co-activation positionally.
Yep. All right. So we've covered a lot today.
There's a whole lot of going on.
And there's a lot to do. So what we should do is a second, like a part 2.
Yes. Part 2. Great. Yes. We will reconvene. Yes. But we want to talk
what did we learn today?
Yes. Well, we learned a lot, I think. Okay. So, breathing, function, I think there's some understanding there, which can be that'll be a very quick fix.
Cool.
And then there's some physical stuff that we need to get into, which is going to be more your mobility and some basic core function stuff.
Okay.
So for us, that right ankle dorsiflexion was one of the biggest ones.
Interesting.
Right hip internal rotation, little bit of pelvic torsion. So that is kind of an effect of a lot of this.
Gotcha.
Right? Maybe not the cause is somewhere else, right? Yeah. So this is like more going to get thrown out because it has nowhere else to go. And then with our T-spine, no extension, right? So rotation, extension, those are going to kind of help each other out. And for you to be any sort of overhead athlete or club-based athlete, you're going to just destroy your shoulder, essentially.
Now,
that's what'll happen.
When you say that on camera,
yeah.
What do you mean so that you don't scare everybody?
Well, it's just wear and tear, right? So wear and tear. So one part moves too much.
Yeah.
One part doesn't move enough.
Yeah.
We're going to get it from where it moves. And so you'll see this a lot, even in pitchers, right? One of the biggest indicator of like a Tommy John surgery is right hip extension limitation.
No way. What?
Okay. Because we're going to get whip from somewhere.
Right.
And if I stop here, I have to get it upstream.
Compensate. Wow.
And I make up time.
Wow.
And so this is a kinematic sequencing thing. But for us to like optimize that whole thing, we got to have the parts doing, otherwise we're dumping power and just setting up another compensation. Gotcha. So what we're going to do next time, we're going to start to go through some soft tissue work. Okay. Some manual therapy stuff.
Yep.
We're going to kind of then determine exactly which programs you're going to need, like on your at-home self-care programs.
Okay.
And then we're going to deliver those to you in videos with instructions and all sorts of stuff, accountability, check it off. I can see when you do it. So I'll be watching you.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
And yeah, so that's going to be our next part 2.
Okay.
And then part 3 is going to be me kind of coaching you through a lot of that, making sure you have a deep understanding of what you shouldn't feel, what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that we say is that the right exercise done the wrong way is still the wrong exercise.
Hey, well said.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The right exercise done the wrong way is the wrong exercise. And you see it in the gym and you cringe.
Oh, it's horrid.
It's just like, oh,
it's horrid.
Can I? No, I can't. But I want to, but I can't. But you should.
Right. And instead we just film them and put them online. Right.
That's actually true.
But this is why we refer to it as it's not physical education, but it's physical literacy. Oh. So I need a depth of knowledge for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. That you can tell me about.
Yes.
So that you have an understanding. And that you can be your primary healthcare provider. And that's where we want you to win long term, whether it's me or somebody else or other people that when you're traveling or doing other things.
Brilliant.
And then you can communicate effectively to whomever that individual is.
Yeah, articulate what's going on.
Most definitely.
Which is hilarious because my dog, when we meet in heaven, the first thing he's going to say is, dude, it was my blank.
Totally.
Right? Because he's always like, something's bothering him. And I'm like,
I don't know what that is.
I need you to tell me what's wrong.
Communicate effectively. What is wrong with you?
Bark.
Yes.
And I'm like,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So that ability that literacy.
Most definitely.
It really matters. And that's really great. And I can see that for any pickleballer where they're having stress, strain, fatigue, injury. How do they communicate to their trainer,
to their doc, is an expression of what our body can or can't do. Right?
Yep.
And if we have pain or something like that, there's a problem somewhere.
Yep.
It may be found in an X-ray. It may be found in an MRI. It might be found from a diagnostician that is trying to actually break things down and look at them individually.
Yep.
Kind of depends on different people's schools of thought. There's a lot of different things that can be helpful or beneficial for people. But until we have like these kind of deep understandings of where you're at, we don't really know what intervention would be best for you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. In fact, just like the things that you did with me today was a discovery for me about like, I didn't know my right ankle didn't move. Like my left ankle. I had a sense of some of the other things, but that was really interesting. When that just stopped moving, that was the first time I'd ever experienced that. So, yeah. Onward, self-discovery, self-knowledge, right?
Like growth.
That's how it happens.
Yep.
All right. Well, how do people find you online?
So online, it's stretcheffect.com, AFFECT. It's what we do to you, right? So, and then our Instagram is like stretch_effect.
Okay.
And we have a whole bunch of like useful resources and stuff on there and try and keep it fun and engaging.
Awesome.
So, yep.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's wonderful. Looking forward to it.
Woo!
All right, let's go.
Thanks so much for listening. Do you want to know the number one mistake picklers make that leads to increased pain, soreness, stiffness, and injury? Just head over to www.pickleballrecovery.com and download my free guide to playing with less pain and more enjoyment. Listen, pickleball makes us feel young at heart, but not necessarily young in body. So go download my free guide at www.pickleballrecovery.com. See you next time.